All right, let's dive into some really fascinating stuff today. Excerpts from The Secret Doctrine by H.P. Blavatsky.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever,
I've heard of it.
yeah, it's not exactly light reading, is it?
No, not really a beach read.
No, definitely not. Blavatsky was really going for it, trying to synthesize like science and religion and philosophy,
Mm.
and all drawing on these ancient Eastern esoteric traditions.
Yes, a big book.
It is a big book and written in the late 1800s,
A
so...
lot of information in there.
Oh, yeah, dense, really dense, almost poetic language,
Mm-hmm.
and all this symbolism.
Yeah,
It can be a little intimidating,
it can be. It can be.
to say the least. I mean, imagine trying to understand the entire universe and humanity's place in it all in one go.
Yeah.
That's the Secret Doctrine.
Ambitious?
Extremely ambitious. But that's why we're here, right?
Here we are.
We're going to try to distill some of those core insights from these excerpts
Mm-hmm.
and see what secrets they hold about, well, the universe and us.
Yeah. What do they tell us about us?
Exactly. What's our place in all this?
And what's so intriguing, I think, is that the Secret Doctrine really grapples with these big questions about cosmic evolution and human evolution.
Right, right.
Ideas that were, and I think still are in many ways, considered pretty unconventional.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're talking ancient stanzas, lost continents, beings called mind-born sons,
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's the kind of stuff that makes you think.
Makes you think, makes you go, what if?
Exactly.
So where do we even begin to unpack all of this? What do you think?
Well, I mean, the book draws on this ancient source called the Book of Dzyan, which is where these stanzas come from. Blavatsky claimed to have access to.
Okay. Yeah.
And they are just packed with these little details. One of the things that struck me was this whole concept of boundless duration, what Blavatsky calls kala,
Okay.
versus how we normally understand time.
Right. Kala. So imagine time stretching out forever.
Mm-hmm.
No beginning, no end. That's Kala.
Yeah. It's like this bigger picture of time that we're only catching glimpses of.
Yeah, but we experience it or think we experience it as like past, present, future.
Right. Kala.
That's
Conditioned time.
conditioned time. Okay.
Yeah, it's like saying there's this much grander concept of time that we're just barely scratching the surface of.
My mind's already bending a little bit.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But I think this whole idea of cycles
Okay.
is really central to the Secret Doctrine. It's not
Mhm.
just about time. It's about how the universe itself and humanity along with it goes through these huge cycles of development.
So you're talking about the rounds and races, right? These massive periods where both Earth and humanity are going through these stages of evolution.
Exactly.
Okay, now Blavatsky says we're in the fourth round and the fifth race.
Right.
But she suggests some pretty wild things about the nature of these earlier races.
He does.
Yeah.
One of the most surprising to me is this idea that humans existed before mammals even.
Okay.
And that apes, instead of being our ancestors, she says they actually came from crossbreeding between early humans and animals.
Okay, now that...
It's not exactly what we learned in school, right?
that turns things upside down.
It really challenges that traditional evolutionary narrative.
Completely.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's this whole other concept of the lunar chain and earth chain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to visualize this. My head's spinning.
Yeah, it's a lot to visualize. But think of it this way. Before our current Earth, there was this other chain of globes where life was already evolving. She calls it the lunar chain.
Okay, the lunar chain.
Mm-hmm. And these monads, units of consciousness, they're traveling through these chains kind of like a cosmic relay race.
Okay, so you're saying each globe in the lunar chain gives rise to a corresponding globe in the earth chain.
Yeah, it's like Earth is a descendant of the moon in a way.
Okay, hold on tight, everybody, because here we go.
Buckle up.
The third root race.
Okay.
This is where things get really interesting.
This is where things get really unconventional.
So this third root race, as described in the Secret Doctrine, was androgynous.
Mm.
And they reproduced in a way that is just completely different from anything we understand today.
Yeah, get ready for this. They reproduced through what Blavatsky calls a sweat-borne process.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, it's wild.
A sweat-borne process, all right?
But apparently they were these incredibly spiritual beings in a state of deep contemplation, not really engaging with the material world.
Not like us.
Not like us at all.
Right.
But eventually they sort of fell, separated into sexes, and started procreating the way we understand it.
Right, right.
It's interesting, though, because this whole idea of the fall isn't seen as a bad thing in the Secret Doctrine.
Right, it's not like the biblical fall.
Exactly. It's more about this descent of spirit into matter.
Okay.
It's the development of self-awareness.
Okay, so they went from these androgynous, spiritually advanced beings to, well, what exactly?
Well, that brings us to the fourth root race, the Atlanteans.
Ah, the Atlanteans.
You know all those stories about giants that pop up in cultures all over the world?
Mm-hmm.
Blavatsky suggests maybe there's some truth to those legends.
Okay.
She describes the Atlanteans as giants.
Giants.
Highly advanced,
Mm-hmm.
but eventually they get corrupted by what she calls dark wisdom.
It's like a classic story of hubris.
Yeah.
Rise and fall, right?
Hmm.
They achieve great things, but then, boom, their own imbalances bring them down.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale.
It is. And of course, you can't forget the whole continent of Atlantis sinking beneath the waves.
Right.
But here's where I get really fascinated. Blavatsky also talks about ideas that seem to, like, foreshadow modern science.
That's one of the remarkable things about the Secret Doctrine.
Yeah, she's writing about stuff like atoms are actually centers of force, not solid particles. The existence of subtle forms of matter. Even the idea that the sun isn't the only source of energy in our solar system.
Yeah.
I mean, these were radical ideas back then.
Very radical.
And now we're starting to see some of them play out in science.
And now they're gaining more acceptance.
Okay, get ready for this next part. This one really gets me.
Okay.
Blavatsky says that the 7 planets of ancient astrology
Mm-hmm.
aren't just the physical celestial bodies that we know,
Right.
but they actually represent spiritual forces and beings as well.
Yeah.
And get this, she says 3 of them are secret,
Secret planets.
unnamed.
We don't even know their names.
It's like a cosmic mystery just waiting to be solved.
Definitely sparks the imagination.
For sure. Okay, one more thing before we really dive into the specifics.
Okay.
The serpent.
Ah, yes, the serpent.
It plays a central role in the Secret Doctrine.
It does.
But here's the twist. Contrary to popular belief, it's not a symbol of evil.
Right.
It's not the devil.
Still.
Instead, she says it represents wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
kundalini energy,
The life force.
the life force itself.
Powerful symbol.
So she's turning everything we thought we knew on its head.
She really does.
Yeah, my mind is already blown.
We've just scratched the surface.
And we're just getting started.
There's so much more to explore. Maybe we should start with those stanzas from the Book of Dzyan.
Let's do it. I'm ready to go deeper.
All right, let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
Remember those stanzas from the Book of Dzyan, the ones we talked about earlier? Well, stanzas I and the 7 are particularly interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they deal with the very beginnings of everything.
Like the whole shebang.
The whole shebang, the universe, life, you name it.
Okay, so like origin stories.
Exactly.
All right, let's hear it.
So stanza I starts with, and I'm quoting here, "Darkness alone filled the boundless all."
Okay, so before we all go searching for our nightlights,
Right.
what does darkness actually mean here? It doesn't sound like the kind of darkness we're used to.
Yeah, you're right. It's not about the absence of light like we normally think of it.
Okay.
Blavatsky explains this darkness refers to the unknowable source of primordial light.
It's like, it's so bright.
Exactly. It's so vast and all-encompassing
Yeah.
that our little human brains can only perceive it as darkness.
Okay, so it's like too much light for us to even comprehend.
It's like trying to stare directly at the sun.
Right, right.
You just can't do it.
It's too bright.
too bright.
Okay, so we've got this primordial darkness,
Mm-hmm.
this like infinite potential, and then we have the eternal parent.
Yeah, the eternal parent represents the undifferentiated cosmic substance, that raw material from which everything in the universe is formed.
Okay, so it's like pure potential just waiting to unfold.
Exactly, like a seed that holds the blueprint for an entire tree.
Okay, I can kind of see that.
And then enter the I.
Ah, yes, the mysterious Ahai. Who are these beings?
They're described as beings who contain universal mind, the first to emanate from the eternal parent.
So they're like the first sparks of consciousness.
Exactly. Pure thought, pure intelligence.
Okay, so we've got darkness, the eternal parent, and the Ahai. A lot of abstract concepts here.
There's a lot to take in.
What happens next in this cosmic creation story?
Well, from the Ahai come the mind-born sons of the First Lord. These are high spiritual beings
Okay.
who are the first to be evolved.
They're like the first kids on the block.
Exactly, and they set the stage for the universe as we know it.
Whoa, wow.
They established the 7 ways to bliss, which are paths to spiritual liberation,
7 paths to bliss.
and the great causes of misery, which lead to suffering.
So like the blueprint for both the good and the bad is already there.
Yeah, it's like saying that both suffering and bliss are woven into the very fabric of reality.
Whoa, that's deep.
It is. It suggests that even our experiences of joy and sorrow have a deeper cosmic significance.
Okay, so how do we go from this, like, primordial blueprint to the universe and humanity as we know it?
That's where those rounds and races come in.
Oh, right, those cycles.
Blavatsky describes evolution as happening in these huge cycles called rounds, and each round consists of 7 root races.
Wait, so it's not just one set of 7 root races. There are multiple sets.
Right, like 7 sets of 7 root races.
Wow. Okay, my brain hurts.
It's a lot of cycles.
A lot of cycles.
Each round represents a complete cycle of development, both for Earth and for humanity.
Okay, and she says we're in the 4th round and 5th root race, right?
That's right. And the earlier rounds, well, they were a lot different from what we experience now.
Like, how so?
Well, they were far more ethereal, less physical.
So, like, less dense, more fluid.
Exact.
And over time, things become more material.
Yeah, it's like we're gradually becoming more solid.
Both physically and consciously.
Exactly. That descent of spirit into matter is key.
Right, and that brings us back to the lunar chain and earth chain. So each globe in the lunar chain gives birth to a globe in the earth chain.
In a sense, yes.
Like a cosmic lineage.
Yeah, it's a gradual unfolding, a process of becoming...
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. What about the 3rd root race, those sons of passive yoga? The ones who are androgynous and reproduced through that sweat-born process.
Imagine beings who are in this constant state of deep contemplation, not fully engaged with the material world like we are.
They were just vibing.
Exactly.
Right.
Their minds weren't fully developed in the way ours are today.
So they weren't self-aware in the same way.
Not really. It wasn't until the fall or the separation into sexes that they developed more individualized minds.
So it's less about sin and more about evolution.
Exactly. It's a necessary step in the journey.
Okay, that makes more sense. What about the Atlanteans then?
Well, they were giants, that's for sure.
Really? Like actual giants?
According to Blavatsky, yes.
Whoa.
They had advanced technology, psychic powers, built these incredible cities.
It's like something out of a movie.
It is, but as their power grew, they became unbalanced.
Too much of a good thing.
It's a classic tale of hubris, and ultimately it led to their downfall.
So Atlantis wasn't just a myth.
Well, that's up for debate, but the Secret Doctrine definitely suggests there might be some truth to the legends.
It makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden in those ancient myths.
It really does.
Okay, but what about all that stuff about atoms being centers of force
It's amazing, isn't it?
and subtle forms of matter?
Blavatsky was way ahead of her time.
It's like she was tapping into knowledge that we're only now starting to understand.
It really makes you wonder.
It does. Okay, what about those mysterious 7 planets?
Ah, yes, the planets that aren't really planets.
Yeah, that's the part I'm really struggling with.
It's a tough one. Blavatsky basically says that those 7 planets from ancient astrology are more like archetypes, cosmic principles.
So not physical planets at all.
Not in the way we understand them. They represent spiritual forces and beings connected to the universe, to us, even to the root races.
It's like saying we're literally connected to the stars.
In a way, yes.
And 3 of them are secret.
Secret, unnamed. Who knows what mysteries they hold?
It's like a cosmic puzzle.
It is.
Okay, so the serpent,
Who's serpent?
not evil, but wisdom.
Exactly. In the Secret Doctrine, the serpent represents Kundalini energy.
Right, that life force energy.
It's a powerful symbol of transformation, of spiritual awakening.
So even the things we fear can hold the key to liberation.
That's a powerful way to put it.
This is a lot to process.
It is, but I think that's the point, isn't it? To challenge our thinking, to expand our awareness.
Like open our minds.
Exactly.
This deep dive has definitely done that for me.
Good.
We've covered so much. Rounds and races, lunar and earth chains, secret planets, the serpent as wisdom.
It's a lot.
What else is crucial to understanding the Secret Doctrine? Like, what's the big takeaway here?
I think one of the most important things to remember is that Blavatsky wasn't just trying to give us a new set of rules or beliefs.
Okay.
She was pointing towards a deeper truth that's beyond words and dogmas.
So it's more about asking questions than finding answers.
In a way, yes. She wanted us to explore, to challenge our assumptions, to think for ourselves.
Oh, it's a journey, not a destination.
Beautifully put.
We'll be pondering these mysteries for a long time, I think.
Me too.
Maybe we should take a break and let all this sink in a bit.
Good idea. We've covered a lot of ground.
Okay, I think my mind is still buzzing from all these ideas, all these concepts from the Secret Doctrine.
It's a lot to take in, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And it's amazing to think that Blavatsky was writing about all of this over a century ago.
Right.
Long before, modern science even considered some of these things.
It's pretty incredible.
It is. It really makes you wonder, like, how did she come up with these ideas?
Mm-hmm.
Things that we're only now, today, starting to validate through scientific discoveries.
Yeah, like take those subtle forms of matter she talked about.
Right, exactly.
It's almost like she was predicting things like dark matter, dark energy,
Yeah.
which are still such a mystery.
Totally. And the idea that atoms are, centers of force, not like solid particles.
Right.
It's exactly what quantum physics is showing us, right?
It is. It's this whole other way of looking at reality.
Like matter is more like a wave or a vibration
Yeah, than a solid thing.
than something solid, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, what is reality even, right?
What is reality? Okay, and then there's that whole concept of like boundless duration, Kala,
Yeah.
versus like our everyday experience of time, right?
It's a mind bender.
That one, I mean, I'm still struggling with it.
Me too.
It's just so hard to wrap your head around this idea of like an eternal, timeless reality that exists beyond our perception of past, present, and future.
I know. Think of it this way, like, our experience of time is kind of like a movie, right?
Okay.
It's made up of all these individual frames.
Right.
But the film itself exists as a whole, beyond any single frame.
Okay, yeah.
And in the same way, there's this timeless reality that encompasses all moments,
Right.
all possibilities, all at once.
Okay, I can kind of see that.
It's like there's this much bigger picture that we're only seeing a tiny sliver of.
Yeah. So if we connect all of these ideas, the cycles, the subtle forms of matter, the boundless duration thing, what does it actually tell us about the universe and like our place in it?
Well, I think it suggests that the universe isn't just this random collection of stuff out there.
Okay.
It's more like this vast, interconnected web of energy and consciousness.
Okay, a web.
Yeah. And we humans, we're not separate from that web.
Right.
We're like threads woven right into it.
So it's like we're all connected
Exactly.
on some level, deeper level.
And everything we do, everything we think, even just our being, it all ripples out.
Wow.
And affects the whole web.
So we have a responsibility here.
Yeah, a much bigger one than we might realize.
Definitely. Definitely. And if evolution happens in cycles, like Blavatsky says, and humanity has already gone through these rounds and rounds of development,
Right.
I mean, what does that mean for our future?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. And what if, all those ancient myths, the ones about giants and lost continents, what if they hold more truth than we realize?
It really makes you question everything you thought you knew.
It does. This whole deep dive has just opened up so many questions.
Me too.
What would you say, like, what's the most important thing for our listeners to take away from all of this?
I think the most important takeaway is this. The Secret Doctrine, it's not about giving us all the answers.
Okay.
It's about challenging us to think differently, to expand our awareness, and to really, embark on our own journey of discovery.
So to keep asking questions.
Exactly, to never stop questioning.
I like that.
To recognize that the universe is full of mystery and wonder, and that we are all part of something much, much greater than ourselves.
Well said. I love that sense of possibility, and the invitation to just keep exploring.
Yeah.
Who knows what other secrets are waiting to be uncovered.
That's the exciting part, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Well, I think we've given everyone a lot to think about today.
I think so too.
So until next time, keep diving deep.
Keep searching.